What do poor people understand that rich people do not? When your parents are lying to you saying they're full when they're not so you can have the last bite. My parents would eat the leftovers of food that we kids don't touch. Clean the fishbone of meat or the garlic and vegetable stems from the stir fry. Glad to say that these days we tell mom to order whatever she wants and not to look at the price tag. But habits die hard, so she'd still pick the cheap stuff and ask if it's okay embarrassingly when we press her to order what she really wants. We didn't get fast food often, but when we did, my mom never let us buy drinks. We would get McDonald's and then drive across the street to Kroger where they had the store brand vending machines outside. She would give us all a quarter to get a can of whatever flavor soda we wanted. To this day, I rarely get drinks if I buy fast food. The feeling of watching all your friends go on a field trip without you because your parents couldn't afford it. Not exactly a field trip, my school never excluded you from them, even if you couldn't pay, but when I was a junior in high school, the French club took a trip to Europe over the summer. I really wanted to go, but I knew my parents couldn't swing it, so I never even mentioned it. Well, when my friends got back, one of them had gotten me a keychain from Paris, and the horribly sad look on my mom's face broke my heart. A couple years ago I was talking about a vacation my husband and I were planning and my mom randomly said, "I wish your dad and I could have sent you to Europe when you were in high school. Thanks for breaking my heart all over again, Mom." Just legitimately not being able to do things due to money constraints. I had a friend who was super well off and she would get annoyed when I wouldn't be able to plan last-minute trips with her. Like, I need to plan and save months ahead of time before I can afford something like that. I didn't have the luxury to be that spontaneous and she just couldn't understand that. Wealthy children also don't understand that other children don't choose to look bad or be dressed badly, or have weird possessions, or be different in general. Growing up poor, I found that poor children were more ready to accept if you did things differently because they understood that things were out of your control. Rich children, on the other hand, were far more ready to say you're doing it wrong, you're supposed to do it XYZ way. Desperation. Getting to a point that you will do anything to be able to feed yourself or your child, even if it means selling your possessions, or your body. That change is still money and adds up. It blows my mind how many people will leave change at the register when paying for something. I work tip-based jobs, and love when people leave me their change on top of a tip. I collect that like gold, take what the person in front of me left in the change dispenser, pick up pennies off the ground, fill up my mason jar, and easily get an extra $100 a month. That having a sick/injured child could literally make your family homeless. My fiancé comes from a well-off family and I come from poverty. When we talk about our parents' parenting styles, he talks about how his parents had more of a let them stub their toe not break their foot kind of mentality. Whereas my parents didn't have any safety net in the smallest broken bone, hospital stay, or otherwise bad decision/accident my brother and I could have made had the potential to make us homeless. He wonders why my mom is still a nervous wreck about little details even now that I'm grown up and on my own. Her life has been one perpetual avoidance of events that could put us out on the streets after the next. I don't blame her at all. When I asked this, I was sure someone would say general awareness of consequences. When a poor person screws up in a big way, they tend to suffer the full weight of the consequences. Money pays to get you out of a lot. On a related note, I've known some rich people who simply never had it occur to them that violence is a thing. Like, spouting off at the mouth and generally being a dick with no fear at all that someone might be offended enough to beat the out of them for it. If you're poor you know that if you mouth off to the wrong guy, you might just get punched in the face. The importance of being generous and sharing what you have. Seems a little counterintuitive, but I think poor people are better at sharing. My relatively poor immigrant family growing up always shared with friends and relatives. I married a fairly wealthy girl and she has never been good at sharing. Rich people don't need to rely on anyone else so they tend not to lend a hand. At least in America that the culture of worshipping money and materialism subject poor people to a collective contempt by society who believes poverty is a just and deserved state for those who do not work hard enough or fail to seize the allegedly great amount of opportunities to make a fortune. Rich people are admired for their wealth and capitalism whispers to everybody that their life is a success, that it is desirable from an ethical point of view. Of course, we are regularly reminded that this is a myth and that rich people can be unhappy too, but still in our culture everything, our values, the media, they all tell us that getting rich is the ne plus ultra. What would you do if you won the lottery? Which job pay more? It's expensive to be poor. If you don't have $5 for a 10-pack of toilet paper, it's $1 per roll at the liquor store. Public transportation costs more than owning a car, so you can never save up to own a car. Late fees and overdraft charges. Inefficient appliances wasting energy. It's really hard to dig out of that hole.